Okay, so today I want to talk about mental health, and particularly I want to talk about SAD, Seasonal Affective Disorder. Why do I want to talk about this, you ask? Well, because I suffer from it every year, coming and starting right about now in October. So today I want to share with you the 4 things that are essential to my mental health and coping and managing my seasonal affective disorder that comes around every year. And living in Minnesota and in the north, that means that I suffer with it for 5 to 6, maybe even 7 months a year. So let's talk about mental health today, friends. Hi, I'm Dr. Alicia Granholm of aliciagranholm.com, helping you thrive in your leadership and life. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified every time I post a new video. So here's a little bit of my backstory when it comes to mental health, and especially for me, seasonal affective disorder. I've probably struggled with it my whole life, but I didn't really start to understand it until college, because all growing up, I was in sports in the winter. And so, would get up early in the pitch black of Minnesota winters and go to school and then go to sports and come home in the dark and do my homework and then, go to bed and rinse, wash, and repeat. And so it really didn't start to present itself for me, at least in a super noticeable way, until college, when I didn't have that lifestyle and that routine anymore. And my sophomore year of college, I remember my mom probably emailing me and asking if I'd ever heard of seasonal affective disorder, because she wondered if maybe that was something that I struggled with every winter. So I looked through the website that she had emailed me and all the symptoms of it, and sure enough, it all rang true. So I went and visited with a therapist on my college campus, and we kind of processed what that meant for me and some ways to manage it during the winter and cope and find a place where I could really have healthy mental health throughout the really dark winters in Minnesota. And so that's kind of where my journey began. And over the last 20 years, I've really honed in on 4 things that help me deal with and manage my mental health, that challenges that really present themselves super strongly during the uber dark winter months of Minnesota. So I want to share those with you today in case they could be helpful to you or anyone else that you might know that also struggles with seasonal affective disorder or other mental health challenges. So number 1 is my sun lamp. I am religious about using my sun lamp. It is a non-negotiable, so much so that for the last 20 years, my sun lamp has sat on whatever my work desk is, whether that was my desk at college or my desk at the Capitol when I worked for the state, or my desk at the churches that I've worked at, or my desk in my home office. Wherever my desk has been, my sun lamp has sat on it. And because my sun lamp is essential to my mental health in the winter months, I actually have on my calendar when in October to start using my sun lamp, because I have been caught years past of not remembering to start using it regularly every single day, and actually having a burnt out bulb and not being able to have access to a sun lamp, and just the debilitating effect that had on my mental health and my body. I have forever since put it on my calendar and made it a non-negotiable, because I want to take care of my mental health, and I want to be healthy, not just for myself, but for those around me as well. Number 2 is exercise. And not even exercise to stay fit, but literally exercise to move. I have found that, in the summer months, I can be active, but I don't have to be I don't have to push myself physically in order to feel good and feel the positive effects of exercise on my body. Now, in the winter, that is not true. I do find that I need to push myself harder. I need to turn my walks into runs. I need to turn my casual bike rides into training sessions, because my body really needs the exercise and the movement to help balance out my mental health in the winter months. It goes on my calendar. We have 2 little boys. My husband and I both work full-time jobs. And so, finding time to work out can absolutely be a challenge, especially because I need more intense, higher intensity workouts in the winter. And so sometimes getting outside is a little bit challenging. Let's be real. It can be uber cold. We can have long stretches of, sub-zero weather, and it's just too cold to get outside for a run. And while the gym can be helpful, sometimes it's not in our budget. And so I've had to be creative about how to get high intensity workouts in the winter months. But I really have found that the winter and just seasonal affective disorder really asks me to work out harder in the winter so that I can have more of those positive effects, natural positive effects of exercise for my body and my health. Exercise is not about staying fit or about training, although I do love training and starting to train for races in the winter, but it really is about my mental health and a way to help me maintain and cope with the depression that I feel in the winter because of seasonal affective disorder. Number 3, what I consume, what I eat, what I put into my body, how much water I drink. Honestly, changing my diet to a nutrient-based diet helps immensely in the winter, because if I had my choice, you may or may not know this, but my favorite vegetable is the potato, right? I can have the potato mashed, baked, fried, which way you prefer your potato, I like it too. So while I do eat a potato every day, I don't eat it at every meal, okay? And so a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, which sometimes can be hard. And so I go the easy route and I make smoothies in the winter. Cold smoothies in the winter, yes, I know, not always, they don't always go hand in hand. But for me, sometimes I just am not feeling the veggies, not gonna lie. I do love a good salad, but my husband can throw greens on any sandwich. I just sometimes find they ruin sandwiches unless it's the right kind of greens. And so, but I have found that I can throw them into a smoothie and consume all the greens and nutrients and vegetables that my body needs to really be healthy in the winter. Because like so many other people, I'm craving comfort food in the winter, but that comfort food actually does not help to my body to really regulate itself and be in a healthy place for maintaining and managing my seasonal affective disorder in the winter. And so I really have to be intentional about what I'm consuming in the winter. And I really do change up what I eat in the winter, because it's easy for me to get lazy on fruits and vegetables when it is so stinking cold out. This is just not what I'm craving, right? Like I'm craving warm things. So I've found that smoothies are a great way for me to get my nutrients in and help my body maintain its health. And really, it's amazing how much of a difference it can make, even for my mental health in the winter months. And number 4 is having the phone number of a mental health expert on hand at all times. While I often don't need the assistance of a mental health expert in the winter months, because I found that my sun lamp and getting rigorous exercise and eating healthy really do help me to maintain and manage my mental health in the winter, the dark winter months. I know that that's not always the case. I know that it's something I actually cannot control, right? Like mental health is not something that any single person can control. Anyone is susceptible to having challenges with their mental health. And so I always have on hand the number of a mental health expert that I can reach out to if I need help. We have no problem seeking the advice of experts when it comes to growing our businesses, when it comes to our leadership, when it comes to getting training that we need in certain aspects of our business, when it comes to parenting or marriage or, going to the doctor. A lot of us didn't grow up knowing that a mental health expert is as essential as every other person on our health team, whether that is our spiritual health, our emotional health, the health of us as parents or marriage partners or leaders or teammates or whatever it can be. A lot of us haven't known the importance and the value of having a mental health expert on that team of people who really care about us and want us to thrive in every aspect of our life. As someone who has struggled with mental health issues for decades and known that I do, it's one of the reasons I really appreciate a show like Ted Lasso, who really takes mental health and puts it front and center in a conversation around sports and athletics. And if you haven't seen my review on the season 2 finale of Ted Lasso, check it out here. I absolutely love that show. So maybe that's a little bit of a good giveaway, but if you watch my review, you'll find some of my favorite scenes and components of that season 2 finale. Now, if you are a leader and this is not something that you personally struggle with, but perhaps people on your team do, can I just suggest that you help encourage your team to prioritize their mental health just as much as they do their physical health? And one of the ways that you can do that is making it as normal to talk about your own mental health as it is to talk about your physical health. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Can you put in the comments below, what are some of the ways that you have found to be super helpful and effective in managing your own mental health, not just in the winter months, but all year round? I really hope that this was helpful. I'm here to help be part of a conversation to break the stigma around mental health, because mental health is health. And it should be just as easy to talk about as it is to talk about going out for a run or a bike ride or some new smoothie recipe that we found online. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like it so that others can find it on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time.